A Fox News alert: the Justice Department now investigating Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey for allegedly interfering in immigration enforcement efforts. Matt Finn joining us now from Minneapolis with the very latest. Hey, Matt.
Hi, Griff. So there are immigration enforcements happening all over the Twin Cities day and night, and oftentimes agents are met with protesters and agitators right on the streets here. We've seen that happen. But ICE is also using a federal facility as its headquarters here, and protesters have identified that location. And as we've been showing you, day and night protesters are at that facility, sometimes launching fireworks at agents. Well, yesterday, the United States Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche went inside of that facility. He gave a pep talk to immigration agents there, and I asked him about Governor Walz and Mayor Frey and their message encouraging people to find opportunities to resist.
When the governor or the mayor threaten our officers, when the mayor suggests that he's encouraging citizens to call 911 when they see ICE officers, that is very close to a federal crime.
Now, sources tell Fox News federal prosecutors are investigating both Governor Walz and Mayor Frey for allegedly impeding law enforcement efforts. Mayor Frey says the probe is meant to intimidate him. Governor Walz responding, weaponizing the justice system against your opponents is an authoritarian tactic. The only person not being investigated for the shooting of Renee Good is the federal agent who shot her. Now, clashes between agitators and law enforcement have been going strong. And now a federal judge appointed by Biden ruled that officers cannot use tear gas on protesters who are peacefully demonstrating. Well, DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin responded, writing, rioters and terrorists have assaulted law enforcement, launched fireworks at them, slashed the tires of their vehicles. Despite these grave threats and dangerous situations, our law enforcement has followed their training and used the minimum amount of force necessary. Now, Deputy AG Blanche told a room full of immigration agents and officials that President Trump is proud of their work, he will back them up, and that they don't have to do their jobs in fear.
There's this narrative on social media that they're going to get in trouble, that locals are going to go after them. That is bull.
And DHS tells us that since Operation Metro Surge began here in November, a total of 3,000 illegal migrants have now been taken into custody. Griff.
All right, Matt Finn, live for us in Minneapolis. Matt, thank you very much. So let's bring in Saturday in America anchor Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh, it's so great to have you here.
Good to be here.
Let's pick up where Matt Finn left off. Obviously, the DOJ says that they're investigating Governor Walz and Mayor Frey for possibly basically interfering with the federal immigration law enforcement. We'll see where that goes. But one thing that was made very clear is that both have used rhetoric that have incited protesters to break federal law in the sense of 18 U.S. Code 111, federal crime to obstruct, assault, or interfere in federal immigration law. We're seeing these protesters turning into agitators, even rioters, assaulting, blocking, and even breaking in and stealing files and weapons from the agents' cars.
Yeah, and no doubt, I would argue much criminality in what we've seen from the protesters. When you start looking at Walz, when you start looking at Frey, what they've said is condemnable. It's irresponsible. It is wrong. That being said, the First Amendment gives an enormous amount of protection to political speech. They no doubt will say this was political speech, and that political speech protection is big and might provide a shield for them. Irresponsible what they've done, but look, I think some of their actions might lead to a case for invoking the Insurrection Act should the president choose. I think he is absolutely right to say, this is available to me and it provides me a great deal of power should I invoke it. Well,
several Democrats, including Ilhan Omar, completely disagree with you. Watch this.
Oh, wow.
The entire purpose of these actions is to provoke chaos and fear in order to justify invoking the Insurrection Act and expand the president's ability to rain terror upon American cities.
The president literally threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, which amounts to declaring war on the state of Minnesota.
We do not need federal authorities to help us maintain order.
Because you're doing such a good job with it.
Yeah, I'm always happy to take the opposing side to Ilhan Omar. It's a safe place to be. And when you look at the Insurrection Act, I have the text here. It says when unlawful obstructionists make it impracticable to enforce the laws of the United States, the president may bring in the military, should he so choose. So President Trump has said, I'm not there yet. I don't see that this is the moment for that. But what we have seen on the ground, and you've covered it extensively, you've been on the ground, fireworks being launched at agents, trying to get into a federal building, the litany, the list of things. Should he choose to go there? I would argue he has the right to.
Yeah, and by the way, the Democratic strategist, James Carville, seems to be trying to save Democrats from themselves, particularly as you have people like Omar and others calling to abolish ICE. Here is Carville's advice. Listen.
I don't want any Democrats out there talking about abolishing ICE. You talk about reforming ICE. You talk about making ICE work. You don't. I mean, we should have learned that lesson last time.
Yeah, I said, and I believe it, that defund the police, the three stupidest words in the history of the English language. The left is universally wrong about everything. People don't want to. They want to have some kind of immigration and customs control.
I even pressed Mayor Frey about abolishing ICE, and he walked away from it. He said, no, I'm not for that.
Well, he's smart to do that. You know, I'll have James Carville on next hour, and we'll no doubt talk about that. But it is strange to me that Democrats haven't learned this lesson. James Carville clearly has. But I was RNC spokesperson when the abolish ICE language came about. This was back in 2017, 2018. It polled horribly. Clearly, a memo went out from the DNC saying, stop this. Yeah. But here we are. It's 2026, and you're at it again. I mean, listen to Carville, but maybe you'll lose elections if you don't listen to him on that point.
You got James Carville. Who else do you have on the show?
So we have a lot coming up. We have John Featherston. He has been covering the Maine fraud. Believe it or not, there's a guy accused of fraud who was running for president of a country in Africa, which is quite strange. Yeah. Rob Schneider, Tom Homan, and then I'm very excited, Mr. Garaffa. He's a hockey player. He died on the ice for 16 minutes. He saw the Holy Spirit, and he is going to talk to us about what he saw.
Wow, that is amazing. All right. We'll see you coming up in just a little while.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.